I'm going to tell you what I really think of Donald Trump. This man is a pathological liar. He doesn't know the difference between truth and lies. He lies practically every word that comes out of his mouth. The man cannot tell the truth, but he combines it with being a narcissist. The man is utterly amoral. Morality does not exist for him.
So fast forward to now, and what a difference 4.5 years can make. This week, Donald Trump offered Ted Cruz the job of arguing this attempt to overturn the election before the Supreme Court, if it ever gets to the Supreme Court. Ted Cruz, one of the many Trump supplicants in the Republican Senate, said, "Yes, sir, I'm your man." And then there's this. A new poll from Quinnipiac finds 34% of all voters say Biden's win is not legitimate. It's a lot, but we have two men who can handle it. Back with us tonight, James Carville, veteran Democratic strategist who rose to national fame with the Clinton presidential campaign and is co-host of the Politics War Room podcast, and Mike Murphy, veteran Republican strategist and strategic advisor to Republican voters against Trump. Gentlemen, good evening to you both. Hey, Mike, if John F. Kennedy, may he rest in peace, were still among us, I'm aware he'd be 103 years old, but if he embarked on writing a volume 2 of Profiles in Courage, wouldn't it have to be more of a pamphlet? Do you see any examples out there these days?
I think the Republican chapter would be only 1 page long and list a few people like Mitt Romney and Larry Hogan. But to me, this is incredible. I've been in fighting for Republicans for over 35 years. I joined the cause for a reason. And this is the lowest ebb, I think, this week of a pretty awful Trump presidency. Because, we have this lawsuit, which on one hand is kind of the rubber chicken of lawsuits. They're going to throw it at the Supreme Court. It's going to get thrown right back. It's ludicrous. There's no standing. But the idea behind it is toxic and real. And to think to the 106 Republican members of Congress, plus, 17 attorney generals, would sign on to something that is essentially an attempt to overturn a legitimate American election is something I couldn't even have imagined 4 years ago. So I think it is the stain on the Republican Party is tremendous. And there are so many people on that amicus brief. Dan Crenshaw of Texas knows better. Some of those other congressmen do, but they've let their narrow political ambition and their gutless fear of Donald Trump run wild. Now they're getting close to the treason business. It is unthinkable to me.
Well, Mike, let's keep going right there on what you just said. Crenshaw's name stood out to me, too, as I perused that list of over 100 duly elected members of the House. Forgive my French. These are grown-ass men and women. These are elected Republican representatives. I have never seen people so scared of an individual in my lifetime, but think of what they've done to weaponize the Republican voting base. And think of the expectations now on what we used to call traditional Republicans trying to run for re-election.
Yeah, they've declared a war on the institutions of democracy, and they're telling our hardcore third of the country that the election is illegitimate. It is massively irresponsible beyond anything you could suspect. And again, people like Dan Crenshaw have served the country well earlier in their careers. Yeah, I don't know how they can look in the mirror right now.
James Carville, your guy won this election, of course, and it made you and your fellow Democrats very happy. We've got this polling, though. 70% of Republicans say Biden's victory is illegitimate. There's your shadow government, not so much coming out of the shadows for the next 4 years. What, amid the good news from election night, James, what worries you right now?
Everything. I can't think of a single thing that doesn't worry me. I mean, I'm gratified that President-elect Biden is going to be president, but the reaction to this pandemic, the reaction to this election, everything that happens is just staggering. I mean, if you look at this lawsuit, Ken Paxton is under federal investigation. This is a ploy for a pardon. This is all this is. And you got 100 elected Republican congressmen signed up to this. Ted Cruz is an educated, intelligent man. Trump attacked his wife and attacked his father. I mean, if anybody in the world knows better, it's Ted Cruz. I can't explain it, and I don't know if it's going to get any better. I think that maybe the explanation is they've all gone nuts. because there's no other logical explanation that someone can come to. I mean, there just isn't. Every judge, every person, of course, says throughout every lawsuit, and they're going to keep on going. And I guess if a political party wants to, do itself in, you can't stop them. Mike Murphy can't stop them, but as hard as he tried, they just seem intent on, pulling a pin on the grenade and holding their hand and watching it blow themselves up. I don't know. But there's a lot of troubling things going on in the country, the Republican Party being at the top of the list.
Well, as they say, if this ain't a mess, it'll do till the mess gets here. Both of these gentlemen have agreed to stay with us while I fit in a break. When we come back, what to make of the criticism that the Biden administration might look a lot more like Obama's third term, and those who are wondering what would be bad about that.